The 2026 Toyota Tundra. We have some new updates to talk about, but stay tuned until the end of this video where I will be sharing with you how you can save between $9,000 to $10,000 off the MSRP on these new 2026 Tundras. More on that in a moment, but for right now, let's get started with the highlights. So the capstone interior, it is updated with the shale premium textured leather trim. The isodynamic seats from the Tacoma TRD Pro are now available on the Tundra TRD Pro models as an option. And we have a new Wavemaker color that's available only on the TRD Pro model. It's that bright blue. I gotta admit, it does look striking and amazing on these trucks. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And the TRD 3-inch lift kit and the tow tech package are now available on the TRD Rally package. The TRD Rally pack that actually came out in 2025, so that vehicle is now available with the lift kit. And something I really appreciate is the 32.2 gallon fuel tank. That is now standard on all trim levels. That is brilliant. I feel like all trucks, no matter which brand, it should always come with their largest fuel tank, but here Toyota has done that. And of course, we still have two powertrain options to choose from. We have the regular twin turbo V6 with 389 horsepower and 479 pounds-feet of torque. Then you have the iForce Max putting out 437 combined system horsepower and 583 pounds-feet of torque. Max towing capacity on these Tundras, it is 12,000 pounds. Okay, those were the highlights. Now let's get into some of the details. It's nothing crazy. The vehicle pretty much just got subtle updates year after year since its inception back in 2022. But starting with that top of the line capstone, it is now available with that shale premium textured leather trim seat, and the limited trim will transition to leather trim seats in both black and gray, showcasing the new pattern with black leather seat surfaces featuring white stitching and the gray leather seat surfaces adorned with black stitching. And as mentioned before, the TRD Pro can now be ordered with the optional isodynamic seats. I really appreciate the fact that they have made it optional here. When you go with the Tacoma TRD Pro, it's a brilliant truck, but they simply give you the isodynamic seats as standard, and it really impedes into the rear legroom space. But it is a cool seat. It's got those shocks to help absorb some of the impacts and to help keep you level when you're off-roading. But honestly, even these standard seats are really good as well. I recently tested the TRD Pro Tundra with the regular seats and it was great. I did some slight off-roading in the Tacoma TRD Pro, and sure, the isodynamic seats, they were good, they were comfortable. I did feel like it was somewhat keeping me level, but it's not like a dramatic difference, if that makes sense. Anyway, the power running boards will now be available on the Platinum and the 1794 TRD off-road package models. That is nice to see. And when you go with the SX package Tundras, you are now able to get 20-inch wheels. Moving on, to enhance the rear passenger comfort, the double cab models will now feature air vents on the rear center console, and all trim levels with the single zone climate control will now get the smart flow management system. We already talked about the larger fuel tank being standard across the board. That's great. And also the tow hitch with the 7.4 connector will now be standard on all models, including the SR basic trim. These trucks will continue to be assembled in the Texas San Antonio plant. We still get Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 on every trim level. The useful safety tech features like blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, they are available. And Toyota claims that the 2026 Tundras should be available for sale later in 2025, but actually, one of my resources have confirmed that we should be seeing in-stock dealer units in a month or two. I'm recording this video in July of 2025. The 2026s are already being built, so that's nice, but we'll have to see. We do have the official pricing from Toyota for these 2026 Tundras. The absolute cheapest model, a rear-wheel drive SR double cab with a 6.5-foot bed. That's going to set you back $41,260. I personally think starting with the 4x4 limited crew cab, I think that's one of the best value propositions in the Tundra lineup with the 5.5-foot bed. That's going to start at $57,860 with a few options and packages. you should be at the low $60,000 range for one of those. And that's personally what I would get in the lineup, but I do like the capstone as well. If you're running some type of very lucrative business and you're able to float that capstone, then you will be rewarded with truly an excellent product. I do like the way these trucks drive. It's definitely a huge improvement over the previous generation Tundra. I even like the V6 engine, but something to watch out for is the overall kind of interior build quality. I noticed that in the early years, even up until 2024, I noticed some chintziness with various panels and the center armrest. For whatever reason, when I recently got a 2025 TRD Pro and also a Sequoia capstone to test out, both of these models had really solid interior spaces, so build quality kind of all over the place. I want to say that things improved starting in 2025, but if you're truly interested in one of these products, definitely make sure to do a thorough test drive and really just sit in the car, poke around, see if you appreciate the build quality of this vehicle. Now, as promised at the beginning of this video, here's how you can save between $9,000 and $10,000 off the MSRP on these brand new 2026 Tundras. You can reach out to Jim, who is one of the largest Toyota brokers in the United States. He has partner dealerships both in Pennsylvania and in California, and they are offering between 9 to 10K off on these 2026 models, and on remaining 25s, I'm sure they have slightly higher discounts still. And that's before incentives. So if you qualify for something like military, and that's like an extra $500 incentive, that's going to stack on top of Jim's partner discounts. Not to mention, Jim has access to multiple different programs that you might not get in your local region if you just buy the vehicle locally. He has some incredible lease deals on these trucks, both the Tundras and the Tacomas. Very affordable. So yeah, the money off of MSRP is great, but the other benefit of purchasing through Jim is to most likely get a spec and a trim level that you actually want, because he has such a large selection to choose from. Plus you get the discount, plus you're not dealing with those dealership shenanigans. You don't have these overly inflated dealer fees or nitrogen fees, tin fees, none of that nonsense that you have to deal with, and you have access to a bunch of great lease programs, interest rates, etc. However, Jim does charge a broker fee to access his deals. He did say that if you text him and you mention my channel, Discerning Cars, he did say that he'll take some money off of his broker fee, and I really appreciate him doing that for my audience. Obviously, I do think that his fee is well worth it to get access to such pricing and programs. Now, all of this can change every month, but Jim does update his programs and his deals on the Leasehackr forum. He also has a Facebook page that you can follow as well. But to contact him, you simply text him, tell him what vehicle you want, roughly what spec, your credit score, where you're going to be registering the vehicle. That way he can get the process moving much more quickly. And yes, I mentioned that he's in Pennsylvania and in California, but actually he does offer nationwide shipping. I've taken advantage of that multiple times, and that's cool. But as mentioned before, it would be wise to actually go down there in person, test drive the vehicle, poke around, see if you truly like it. But that's just my opinion. Regardless though, I just wanted to share Jim as a resource. If you found value with this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.